Golden Radio Hour.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal on the spell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The transcribed story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
Good morning, ma'am. Kitty!
Hello, Matt. I didn't see you sitting there.
Well, I know. Sit down. There you are.
How do you like my outfit?
Ah, I never saw you in a riding skirt before, Kitty. You been riding side saddle?
For the first time in my life. At least I know how to do it now, in case I'm ever called on to be a lady.
Well, I know ladies who don't always ride side saddle.
Sure. Like that female wildcat down in the Panhandle you told me about. What's her name?
Oh, Belle Star?
I bet she never rides side saddle.
Well, Belle Star's a lady, though. And everybody treats her like one. Even though she has to use a 6-gun to make them do it.
Maybe I ought to try that.
Yeah, it takes more than a 6-gun to make a lady, Kitty.
That's a funny way of putting it.
Well, that isn't what I meant.
Dillon? Hello, Miss Kitty.
How are you, Chester?
Hey, I just come to Longhorn there, Mr. Dillon.
What, trouble, Chester?
Not yet, but there's going to be as soon as Art Long gets to town.
Art Long? Well, he's always been a peaceful man.
Isn't he one of those nesters out near Sam Baxton's ranch?
That's him, but it's another one of them nesters that's talking up trouble. A fellow named Hoffer. He's saying he's going to shoot Art Long on sight.
Well, is he drunk, Chester?
Yes, sir, some.
Armed?
He's got the biggest old cavalry pistol you ever saw stuck right in his belt.
Real farmer style.
Well, that may be true, Kitty, but those horse pistols go off sometimes.
I'll buy later, Matt.
Yeah, I will if I can, Kitty. So long.
It sure sounds like he means it, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, why does he want to kill Long, Chester?
Well, sir, he didn't say.
Maybe he's just drunk and wants to shoot somebody.
No,
Anybody.
Sir. No, sirree. Hoffer's pretty certain about who it's going to be.
All right, Chester. Don't stand too close in case he puts up a fight, huh?
No, sir.
And all you bully clubs, shut up and listen to me. When Art Long gets here, you're going to see his blood all over the floor. Right there. Or maybe right over there. I don't know just where yet.
Your name, Hoffer?
Barnaby Hoffer.
What's the trouble between you and Art Long?
You friend of his?
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. Because if you're a real good friend, I might take it to mind to shoot you, too.
I'm a U.S. Marshal, mister, and you're not going to shoot anybody.
Oh, Marshal Dillon, huh?
I'll take that pistol, Hoffer.
Okay, Marshal. Take it.
All right. Now tell me what this is all about.
I don't need no pistol.
He's got a knife, Mr. Dillon!
Drop it, Hoffer. I said drop it.
No! I'm going to cut you again. Give me that knife back.
You're kind of hard to convince, Hoffer.
Did he cut you bad, Mr. Dillon?
Oh, he opened up my arm a little bit, Chester. I better go see Doc. You throw him in jail.
Yes, sir, I sure will.
There's a saying that it's the gentle horse that's most dangerous. You don't watch him close enough. And so with Barnaby Hoffer, a farmer who hands you his old horse pistol and then snatches an 8-inch knife from the back of his belt. Well, Doc took a few stitches in my arm and told me to come back in a couple of days. And I did. And it looked pretty good by then. At least I thought so.
You're going to have to watch that cut, Matt. There might be an infection in it.
What are you talking about, Doc? Looks as clean as rain to me.
Well, how do you know what that idiot's been using his knife on? Probably sticks hogs with it all day and uses it to clean his boots at night.
Yeah, sure, but my arm bled a lot. That got it clean. That and all the turpentine you poured into it.
Hurt, didn't it?
You know, someday, Doc, if my luck holds, I'm going to get a chance to work on you.
Oh, no, you know, I'd sooner die. I'd sooner lie in the snow and bleed to death all alone without anybody around even to bury me.
How did you get in the snow, Doc?
Oh, I just hate snow.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Oh, come in. Oh, hello, Chester.
Doc, Mr. Dillon, Art Long's been killed.
What?
Yes, sir. A cowboy just come into the office and told me. Said he rode by his cabin this afternoon and he found him there laying right in the door. Barnaby Hoffer must have done it.
Hoffer? I thought you had him in jail, Matt.
Well, I turned him loose next morning, Doc. He seemed calm enough then. I guess I made a mistake.
I guess you did, all right.
Maybe we shouldn't have stopped to bury Art Long. Hoffer may be a long way from here by now.
Oh, we couldn't leave him lying there, Chester.
No, sir, I guess not. Poor fella.
Well, there's Hoffer's cabin.
Yes, sir. Hey, we've done pretty good at that. It's hardly past daylight.
Looks like his door's open.
Yeah, then he must be inside. He wouldn't go off and leave his door open.
No. Hey, wait a minute. Look over there, Chester.
Why, it's him. Oh, he looks dead.
Yeah, come on.
Oh. He's been shot, Mr. Dillon. With a shotgun. Just like Art Long.
Well, he's still breathing. Hoffer? Hoffer. It's Marshal Dillon, Hoffer. Hey.
Marshal. I'm tore all apart. Took a load of buckshot when I opened the door.
Who did it, Hoffer? Did you see him?
Sam Baxton. He did it.
Sam Baxton?
Who killed Art Long, Hoffer? Did you?
Art Long. Is he dead?
Yeah.
Both of us. Dead. I don't want to die.
It's a wonder he lived this long.
Gosh, Mr. Dillon, I just can't believe Sam Baxton done this.
Why? Just because Baxton's a big rancher and pretty respectable? He's also a mean old devil. And these men are nesters. Come on, let's go find him, Chester. Hello? Anybody home?
Why, it's Marshal Dillon and Chester.
Hello, Miss
Oh,
Baxter.
ma'am.
Well, don't stand around out there. Come on in and sit a while.
Thank you, ma'am.
I got 2 pots of coffee on the stove.
Well, we don't want to bother you none, Miss Baxton.
Bother. Why, I love company. And besides, you don't get out this way very often, Marshal. You're just going to have to stay and eat dinner with us. Sam, we got company.
Hello, Baxton.
What are you doing here, Marshal?
Why, Sam, that's no way to...
Shut up, woman.
Oh, please, Sam, don't talk like that.
Want to get whooped instead? Well, do you?
No, Sam.
I asked what you're doing here, Marshal.
Yeah, I heard you.
Well, say it out. We're busy around here.
You know Art Long and Barnaby Hoffer?
I know 'em. Dirty nesters.
Well, they're both dead, Baxter.
Good.
Oh, no.
They both got killed the same way.
What do I care how they got killed, as long as they're dead?
I'm going to tell you anyway, Baxton. Each of them, when he came out of his cabin first thing in the morning, was killed by a man waiting outside with a shotgun.
Oh, you know all that. You weren't there.
Barnaby Hoffer was still alive when we got there, Baxton.
Still alive?
He died pretty quick, but before he did, he told me who shot him.
Did he? And who was that, Marshal?
You?
Oh, no. No, it couldn't be.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but that's what he said. I'm going to have to arrest you, Baxton.
Arrest me? On the word of a dead sodbuster? Who's going to believe it?
The court will decide that, but it's enough evidence to hold you on.
What makes you think Hoffer wasn't lying? He knew he was going to die, and it was his last chance to get me in trouble. That's what happened.
You'll get a trial, Baxton. You can defend yourself there. Right now, you're going to jail. I'm charging you with 2 murders.
But Art Long was dead. He didn't tell you nothing, Marshal.
He and Hoffer were killed exactly the same way, ma'am. Looks like one man killed both of them.
Come on, Marshal. If we're going to jail, let's go. And you stay out here, woman. I don't want you running into Dodge all the time I'm there.
All right, Sam.
And don't go talking your fool head off to everybody about this either.
I won't.
When we get this business over with, Marshal, I'm going to give you a lot of trouble. You're going to wish you never come near me.
Come in. Be with you in a minute, Matt. As soon as I get Kitty fixed up here.
Oh, Matt.
Kitty. What's that, a black eye? What happened?
It's none of your business. How's your arm, Matt?
His arm's all right, Kitty. Just comes up here to bother me.
Somebody's got to keep you from sleeping all day, Doc.
Oh, don't forget I'm making pretty good money off that cut of yours. Yeah, Kitty.
Thanks, Doc. Matt, has Sam Baxton confessed yet?
No, I've spent 2 days trying to get him to, but he won't admit a thing.
Well, if he does hang, there won't be many tears shed around here.
Yeah, there's Ms. Baxton, Kitty. For some reason, she really loves him.
Oh, that poor woman. I've seen how he treats her.
Too bad she hasn't got a son to stand up for her. Some kid about 8 feet tall.
And he'd be about 8 feet tall if he was Sam Baxton's. Well, that man's tall as a tree.
Is he still wearing that white hat of his?
Yeah, the only time he takes it off is when he sleeps, Kitty. Then he puts it over his face.
Must be like sleeping under a horse blanket. No wonder he's so ornery all the time.
Oh, come in. Well, come on in, friend.
Fellow downstairs told me I could find the marshal up here.
What can I do for you, mister?
Oh, I never been in Dodge City before, Marshal. I ain't even been in Kansas very long. I'm riding south. I got tired of that cold up north.
Why, you're welcome here.
I'm going on south. What I come to tell you was there's a little creek runs out of Arkansas about 20 miles from here. Fellow told me it's called Ginger Creek.
Yeah, that's up near Sam Baxton's ranch, man.
That's on his ranch, according to him. What about Ginger Creek, mister?
Some fellow's got a little cabin there with a corral out in back. I don't know his name.
Now, that'd be Jim Fowler. He's been homesteading there for about a year.
No more he ain't.
Well, what do you mean?
I buried him myself early this morning. I come by and found him laying in the door of his cabin. He was dead, but still bleeding. Somebody's tore him plumb in two with a shotgun.
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first,
Radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense, launches its new summer series Tuesday nights on most of these same stations with more spine-chilling stories packed with excitement and well calculated to keep you in suspense. This Tuesday, hear The Earth is Made of Glass, in which a man experiments with crime on a scientific basis. Suspense, now Tuesday nights at the Star's address. Don't miss it.
Now, the second act of Gunsmoke.
Mr. Dillon, look at there.
What is it, Chester?
Out there in the street. It's Miss Baxton.
Huh?
She's coming a buggy.
News travels fast, doesn't it?
You going to turn old Sam Baxton loose?
Well, I don't have much to hold him on now, Chester.
No, sir. Not with him right here in jail when that last fellow was killed the same way as Art Long and Hoffer. Shucks, I guess he was telling the truth after all.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Well, I'm glad for Miss Baxton anyway. I'll open the door for her. Well, morning, Miss Baxton.
Hello, Chester.
Come right on in, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello, Miss Baxton.
Marshal Dillon, I'm sure glad to see you this time.
Well, I hope there aren't any hard feelings, ma'am.
Oh, you was only doing your duty. I respect that. Oh, where's Sam?
The cells are out back.
Oh, you haven't turned him loose yet.
No, ma'am.
It's too bad about Jim Fowler, Marshal, being killed that way. But it was just like the others, wasn't it? The same man killed all three of them. And Sam was right here in jail.
Well, I was just saying to Chester, news sure travels fast. How'd you hear about it so soon? It just happened this morning.
What? One of our cowboys rode by there about noon, Marshal. He come straight to the ranch and told me about it. Would you let Sam out now? I'd like to get started for home.
I'm sorry, Miss Baxton, but I'm going to have to hold him for a while yet.
But why, Marshal? What for?
Well, Mr. Dillon, a few minutes ago you said yourself...
I said that he wasn't clear of this yet, Chester. You don't listen very close, Chester.
No, sir, I sure don't.
Marshal, you said that whoever killed Hoffer killed Art Long, since they was both shot the very same way.
Well, I know I did, ma'am, but I've been thinking a lot about it, and I'm just not sure yet.
Even with the same thing happening again this morning?
Well, I got to admit that does make a difference, all right. I suppose if one more man got killed like that, I wouldn't have any case at all against your husband. But the way things are now, I got to hold him, ma'am. I'm sorry about it.
Well, it's like I said, Marshal. You got to do your duty.
Yes, ma'am. If there's anything I can do for you, Miss Baxton.
Thank you, Marshal, but I'm all right. Can I see Sam before I start back?
Of course, ma'am. He's right through that door.
I can't stay long.
Chester. You been up on Ginger Creek since I have.
Yes, sir.
Isn't there another nester there not far from Jim Fowler's cabin?
A couple of miles beyond, there's one. I don't know his name, though.
Oh, that doesn't matter. Chester, go get our horses, huh? And bring a horse for Sam Baxton, too. He's going to go up there with us.
I don't know what you're up to, Marshal, but I'd rather be in jail than spending the night in this place.
It's a nice little cabin he's got here, Baxton.
Yeah, you improved it some when you sent him into Dodge for the night.
It's almost daylight, Mr. Dillon.
Okay, Chester. Well, I'm going to build a fire now and let whoever's waiting outside think his victim's just got up.
What makes you think he'll be there this morning, Marshal?
But if he isn't, we'll stay here till he does come.
Mr. Dillon, you want me to pull the door open when you're ready?
I'll tell you when, Chester. And after he gets off a couple of blasts with that shotgun, we'll go out and try to take him alive. All right, Baxton, you get over there with Chester. And And I'll try to get this thing started. All we're gonna need is a little smoke going up through the chimney.
Maybe we can come back when it's all over and cook a little breakfast, Mr. Dillon.
Now, we'll worry about breakfast later, Chester.
Yes, sir. Here, Paxton, you stop that.
What?
Wait, he's got my gun, Mr. Dillon.
You're standing in my way, Chester. Move!
Oh, he got outside.
Come on. Drop that gun, Baxton.
I got him, Marshal. I hit him both times.
Drop it, I said.
All right. I was only helping out, Marshal. Look, he's laying right out there.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry, Mr. Dillon. I never thought he'd try nothing like that.
Walk ahead of me, Baxton.
Oh, sure. Oh, Marshal, look, it's my wife.
Yeah. She's dead.
I didn't know who it was, Marshal. I couldn't see who it was. How'd I know she was doing this? Going around killing people.
Your wife shot Jim Fowler yesterday morning.
I didn't know she hated nesters that much. Well, it's kind of hard to believe, Marshal.
Yeah.
But I guess you never know about a woman.
Well, I can tell you about her, Baxton. Fowler's the only man she killed, and she didn't kill Fowler because she hated him. She did it because she loved you.
What are you talking about?
She was trying to cover up for you.
Oh, wait a minute.
And she almost did it, too. She almost kept you from hanging. So she claimed one of your cowhands saw Fowler's body when I knew he'd already been buried. I had all the evidence I needed on her right then, Baxton. And the biggest mistake you made was killing her.
I didn't know it was her.
You knew. But what you forgot was that she'd have confessed to killing Wong and Hoffer.
Why would she?
Because she loved you. Besides, she couldn't have been punished any more for killing 3 men than for killing 1.
You got it all figured out, ain't you, Marshal?
Yeah, everything. Everything except how she could love a man like you. But then it's like you say. You never know about a woman.
Gunsmoke, transcribed under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Joseph Kearns, Helen Cleve, Paul Savage, and Clayton Post. Parley Bear as Chester, Howard McNear as Doc, and Georgia Ellis as Kitty. Roy Rowan speaking. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke.
Gene Autry stops a lynching of an innocent man and tracks down the real killer on tomorrow's Gene Autry Show. There's time out for Melody on Melody Ranch, too, as Gene sings Down Yonder, Blue Canadian Rockies, and other Western hits. CBS Radio presents the adventure and melody of the Gene Autry Show every Sunday on most of these same stations. Be listening tomorrow. Meet William Demarest and Hope Emerson as the Cobbs, Sunday nights on the CBS Radio Network.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal on the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The transcribed story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
Ain't we never going to make camp, Mr. Dillon?
We'll ask whoever's living in that cabin up ahead if there's any water around here, Chester.
Most likely there ain't. These settlers put up a cabin just anywhere and then start praying for rain.
Oh, we could have camped back on Smoky Hill River.
No, sir. I'd rather go dry. Just as long as we make Dodge by tomorrow night.
We'll make it.
I never seen such a place as that Fort Wallace, Mr. Dillon. Man could go plumb out of his mind living there.
Well, they don't build army posts for pleasure-loving people like you, Chester.
I've been in the Army.
No? Like it?
Well, sir, we didn't always see eye to eye, me and the Army, but at least I didn't get killed.
Well, that helps. I'll bet you look pretty bold in a uniform, Chester.
Oh, my, yes. I surely did.
I wonder if there's anybody home here. Hello?
Place looks deserted, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah. Here, hold my horse, Chester. I'll take a look.
Yes. Ain't nobody home?
There's a man in here, Chester, lying on the floor.
What?
He's dead. Somebody killed him.
We'll put the fire out now, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, we better get started.
Looks like rain this morning.
Yeah, it's too early to tell for sure.
Too bad we don't know that fellow's name, Mr. Dillon. Sure do hate to bury a man and not even put a marker on his grave.
I'd rather know the name of the man that killed him.
It's awful easy to get by with killing a man way out here.
Yeah, too easy.
Say, look over there, Mr. Dillon. Yonder comes a couple of riders.
Yeah, I see him.
What do you suppose they're carrying rifles for?
Stand over there, Chester, about 10 feet from me, huh?
Yes,
And keep the hair out of your eyes.
Yes, sir, I will.
What are you men doing here?
Do you own this place?
I wouldn't live in a shack like that. We got a real house over on Turkey Bend. But that don't answer my question, mister. What are you doing here?
We found a dead man in the cabin there last night, so we stopped to bury him.
A dead man? That must have been Riley. What happened to him?
He got shot.
Who'd have shot a nice fellow like Bob Riley?
Maybe they done it, Deaver.
They probably did. You think we ought to hang him?
It'd be easier to shoot him and leave him here as a kind of a warning.
Yeah. Good idea, Giles.
You move that rifle 1 inch, mister, and you'll die for it. Now go ahead, mister. You're calling it.
It ain't worth a chance. All right, mister. Whoever you are, you and your friend get mounted and ride out of here.
You're Giles, huh? And Deaver?
That's right.
We don't want people around here. Might get an idea to settle down. Now, you two start riding, and right now.
Chester,
Yes?
that coffee you made this morning was weak as well water. Get that fire going again and build some more, huh?
Okay, sir.
Sure got a lot of nerve, mister.
He don't even blink to even look at him.
We'll be by here later, mister. We won't ride up so close next time. You better be nowheres around. Come on, Charlie.
I almost stopped breathing, Mr. Dillon.
It was 2 against 2, Chester. We'd have made out all right.
Yes, I know, but it's the waiting that chills me. Say, you know something? I'll bet anything it was them that killed the fellow that lived here.
Maybe. And I'd sure like to know more about those two. But right now, we better get started for Dodge.
Yes, sir, I'll go get the horses.
Chester and I got mounted and rode maybe a mile and a half when we came across a sort of a camp. There was a man there, a tall man with long yellow hair and bright blue eyes that seemed always to be looking into the distance. He had a mule and an old wagon and some hogs that he kept in a well-built, partly covered pen. But he hadn't put up a shelter of any kind for himself, and it didn't look as though he was about to. We got down and walked over to where he was standing by a small fire.
Sit down, man. I got no coffee, but you're welcome to that pot of chicory. There's a spoonful of molasses in it.
Well, thank you, but we just stopped to say hello.
No need to hurry off, mister. My name's Obie Ridgers.
Glad to know you, Richards. I'm Matt Dillon, and this is Chester Proudfoot.
How do you do?
I don't meet many people out here.
Are you raising hogs?
All my life. Not here, though.
Well, where do you live, Ridgers? You got a house somewhere?
Ain't lived in a house since I was 9 years old. I like it outside. I need to breathe.
Well, you're outside here, all right.
And I ain't gonna move no matter what they say.
No matter what who says.
Them two fellas up on Turkey Bend.
Giles and Deaver?
Them's the ones.
Tell me, Richards, there's a cabin about a mile and a half north of here. You know the man that lives there, Riley?
He comes by here now and then.
Oh, we buried him last night. Somebody shot him.
That's bad. That's real bad. You better tell the law about it if you're going anywhere, mister. I don't hold with murdering a man.
Well, I'm a U.S. Marshal, Richards.
That a fact. Well, now.
Don't you ever get into Dodge?
Well, never have, but I'm going today.
What, in that wagon? It'll take you a week.
No, sir. I'm going horseback.
Well, I swear I don't see no horse.
Well, right out there, fella. Here he comes now. There's Jim Branch leading him. Jim talked me into going to Dodge with him, but I know I won't like it. I'm just doing it for Jim's sake, kind of coddling him along, making him feel good.
Where does this Jim Branch live?
He's got a little place over west of here somewhere. Jim's nothing but a cowboy, Marshal. He'll be drifting on one of these days, kind of like me that way.
Hello.
Got company, Jim.
You ready to go, Obie?
I'm all dressed up like a sore thumb, can't you see?
What'd you do, change your socks?
This here's a U.S. Marshal, Jim. I forget his name.
My name's Matt Dillon. I'm glad to know you.
I'm Chester Proudfoot.
Well, how you do? You heading for Dodge, Marshal?
Yeah, we'll ride in with you if you like.
Good. It's a big day. I've been talking Obie into going to town for 3 months. He claims he don't like towns. Wait till he sees Dodge.
I'm happy right here with my hogs. I don't need no town.
Your hogs won't miss you. Well, let's get started.
I gotta be back in 3 days, Jim, like you promised. Them hogs will starve if I ain't.
You'll be back.
Oh, say.
What?
The marshal here tells me Riley got shot.
No.
Says Giles and Deaver done it.
Now, wait a minute, Richards. It looks like they did it, but if I could prove it, I'd be taking them in for trial right now.
Well, it's too bad you can't, Marshal. They're no good, them fellas.
Well, I can wait. They'll make a mistake sooner or later. But we better get going. It's 60 miles to Dodge. Good evening, Kitty.
Sit down, Matt. You want a drink?
No, thanks. I just had dinner.
That reminds me. Fella brought me a dozen quail today.
Oh?
I can cook them for dinner tomorrow if you're going to be around.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'll be here.
They ought to be ripe enough by then.
You know, I never saw as many quail as there are this year. Riding in yesterday, we put up clouds of them.
That Jim Branch seems like a nice fellow, Matt. Obie Ridges, too.
Yeah, they are, Kitty. They sure make a funny pair.
Maybe. But still, they're kind of like brothers. Look at him over there at the bar. Opie's getting spookier every minute he's here.
Obie likes it outdoors, right out on the ground.
I doubt he'll ever come into town again. Jim told me he still hasn't been able to get him to take a meal in a restaurant. He has to bring it outside for him. Says he can drink inside, but that's all.
Well, maybe we'd all be better off if we lived that way, Kitty.
Not me. I don't want to live like an animal.
Don't you?
Hello, Miss Kitty.
Hello, Jim.
Marshal, something bad's happened.
What, Jim?
Well, this fella here just rode into town from up north. Well, he come by Obie's camp. Marshal, somebody shot Obie's mule and burnt up his wagon and killed all his hogs.
That's right, Marshal.
Oh, no.
Giles and Deaver again, huh?
Well, it's Obie I'm worried about. I never should have made him come to town, Marshal. He'll kill them fellas now. I know he will.
I'll ride out with you, Jim. Right now.
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first...
This coming Tuesday night on most of these stations, CBS Radio turns John Lund loose on his latest case of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. In the Woodward Manila matter, Dollar launches a search for a missing man and a missing fortune. And when the chips are all totaled up, the missing man and the missing money, each somewhat depleted, are accounted for. Don't forget, this Tuesday night at the Star's address, yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Now, the second act of Gunsmoke.
I wanted to ride out to Obie Ridger's camp that night, but Obie insisted on staying in Dodge. He even tried to have a good time for Jim's sake. Next day, however, on the ride up, he just sat his horse and stared straight ahead and never said a word. We reached his camp after dark, and we could see his mule and his hogs lying there in the moonlight, and the remains of his wagon, charred and ghost-like. There was nothing we could do then, so we lay down on the ground and went to sleep. But that was our worst mistake, as I discovered when Chester woke me next morning. Obie had disappeared, and he'd taken his rifle with him. We saddled up and rode for Turkey Bend.
How much farther is it, Jim?
Just beyond them trees, Chester. I told you Obie was going to kill these fellas, Marshal.
Well, maybe they're not here.
Well, if they're not, he'll find them.
Well, let's pull up.
I don't see no cabin.
It's right in there. There it is, see?
Oh, sure.
Wait a minute. Look over there, behind that log.
It's Obie. Hey, Obie!
We better walk over.
Okay. Hey, what are you doing, Obie?
Down, you'll get shot.
Come on, let's run for it.
Deaver in there. I got him trapped.
Look, Obie, I'll handle this. You can't kill these men.
I done killed Giles already. That's him laying right by the door over there.
Oh, Obie, you
Blew
did.
the top of his head off.
Obie, I gotta put you under arrest. Now, give me your rifle.
Wait till I kill Deaver. I can't hang twice.
Give me that rifle, Obie. Now.
You mean it, don't you?
I do.
All right, I won't fight you. Here. But I'd sure like to kill Deaver.
Chester, take this rifle and keep an eye on him. I'm going after Deaver.
Yes, sir.
He'll kill you, Marshal.
No. He'll be too curious at first. I'll walk over there with my hands up. But you wait here till I yell. Deaver! Don't shoot. I want to talk to you.
That's far enough.
Come outside. Obie's under guard. He won't shoot. I'm a U.S. Marshal, Deaver.
You're the feller we run into the other day up at Riley's cabin?
I am. Now come on out.
Thought there was something about you.
I got Obie under arrest, Deaver. He admits killing Giles here.
You killed him.
Did you and Giles slaughter his mule and his hogs?
There's no reason to murder a man.
No. No, it isn't. But tell me about you. Did you murder Riley?
Well, wait a minute,
You're
Mark.
going back to Dodge with us, Deaver.
Oh, no, not me.
Keep your hand away from that gun.
Let's see how good you really are, Marshal.
No!
No, good for you, Marshal. Good. You killed him. Now they're both dead.
Yeah, they're both dead. But you murdered one of them, Obie.
Jail. I can't go to jail, Marshal. I'd go crazy. I'd go crazy in jail, don't you understand? I can't go to jail.
It was a hard thing to do, but I had no choice. And I took Obie back to Dodge and locked him up. A few weeks later, he went on trial. And after long deliberation, the judge sentenced him to life imprisonment. Obie stood up and said he'd rather be hung. Then I took him back to jail. And I sat there with him for a while.
I thank you for everything you said, Marshal. You didn't have to do that.
Well, I just tried to get the judge to believe you went crazy and you didn't know what you were doing, Obie.
I knew what I was doing. I told him I did.
Yeah, I know.
Why wouldn't he let him hang me, Marshal?
And he did what he thought was just, Obie. He didn't think you deserved hanging.
I don't know how I stood it this long in jail.
I'm sorry, Obie. I wish I could help you.
They got windows in the penitentiary, Marshal?
Sure they have. Well, I'll be around later, Obie.
How's it taking it, Mr. Dillon?
It's pretty hard on him, Chester. Where's Jim Branch, anyway?
Oh, my, I ain't seen him since the trial was over.
Well, maybe he'll come around later. I'm going to supper with Doc, Chester. We'll be at Delmonico's.
All right, sir.
Well, a man like that could go crazy. Locked up, man? Oh, that's happened before.
There's nothing I can do about it, Doc.
Well, I know. I didn't mean it that way, Matt.
Pass me the beans, will you?
These are peas, Matt, but you're welcome to them.
All right, peas. Peas, then. Thank you.
Well, why don't you take a vacation, Matt? You know, go back east somewhere, Oh, kind of like St. Louis or Kansas City, someplace like that.
Maybe I don't like towns either.
Well, that's just what I mean. You need a vacation, all right. Oh.
Yeah? Well, if I were a rich croaker, maybe I could take one.
Rich croaker. Croaker? Oh, man. Oh, croaker, man, how could you say...
Oh, all right,
man,
Doc.
would you go...
Take it
well,
easy,
well,
Doc. You'll bust something.
It's a fine thing when a mere policeman can insult the noblest profession known to man.
I was insulting you, Doc, not the profession.
Oh, croaker. Oh, I might have known what it'd be like having supper with you tonight.
I'll buy you a drink after, huh? How's that?
Well, I don't know. Well, I'll think about it.
Mr. Dillon,
What's the matter, Chester?
Obie Ridgers, he's dead.
What?
I heard a shot out back, and I run into his cell, and he was laying there dead. There's a gun on the floor. I don't know where he got hold of it. You better come look.
He's dead all right now.
You think he killed himself, Doc?
Well, the gun was held right close to his head.
Maybe somebody called him over to the window and shot him.
Maybe. But he could have done it himself. The bullet entered right here, man.
Yeah. So you're saying it could be either murder or suicide, huh?
That's right.
Well, why would anybody murder him, Mr. Dillon? It don't make sense.
Well, it could be somebody who understood how Obie felt about being cooped up the rest of his life, Chester. And somebody who liked him. A good friend.
Jim Branch?
I don't know who used that gun, but Obie's dead. And I'm going to find Jim. Jim Branch wouldn't talk one way or the other. So I charged him with both murder and abetting a suicide, and he was brought to trial. The trial didn't last long due to lack of evidence, and Jim was free. He left the country soon after, and I never heard of him again. And as Kitty had said, he and Obie were kind of like brothers.
Gunsmoke, transcribed under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Vic Perrin, Lawrence Dobkin, Jack Crucian, and John Daner. Parley Bear as Chester, Howard McNear as Doc, and Georgia Ellis as Kitty. Roy Rowan speaking. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke.
From all corners of the globe comes the news, edited and reported for your listening pleasure on CBS Newsroom Sunday Desk, every Sunday afternoon on most of these same CBS radio stations. 3 top reporters bring you the latest up-to-the-minute news in their specialized fields. Dick Joy tells you about news at home and overseas. Tom Harmon handles sports, and George Fisher reports the Movieland news. That's CBS Newsroom Sunday Desk, tomorrow at the Star's address. Eve Arden as Our Miss Brooks teaches you how to laugh tomorrow on the CBS Radio Network.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe.